think, and you're telling me what you think.
We're getting nowhere with this.
Okay, then I'm done.
Okay,
it's fine.
That's fine too. I love Belynda, but I don't appreciate this.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. I know you're watching that scene and you have had the same situation in your own relationship where you've had a discussion and you don't know why it went left. Suddenly you guys are just talking about something, you disagreed, and all of a sudden everybody's like, I'm done, right? And we leave the place and we're no better than when we first started that conversation. So what happened between Chad and Belynda on Married at First Sight? Well, I can tell you what happened between Chad and Belynda on Married at First Sight. It's a power struggle. Okay, a power struggle, meaning there was a jostling for power in this relationship because people feel disempowered when they're not heard, when they're not seen, and when they feel like they're not being believed. Because that's actually what's happening with Chad and Belynda. Chad feels like when he talks, Belynda isn't hearing him out and she isn't believing him. When Belynda talks, she feels that Chad is not hearing her out, he's not seeing her, and he's not letting her have an opinion. Okay, and these two are fighting because they have two different wounds that they're carrying. Chad is afraid of rejection. Belynda is afraid of betrayal. And these two things are colliding with one another. Now, there's no winners on this thing because if none of these people actually understand each other, if you don't understand your partner and the points that they're making, you're not winning, you're losing. Okay, so we're going to help you solve two things here. Number one, what happened with Chad and Belynda, and number two, help you also in your relationship be able to solve conflict resolution. Why is it that we keep arguing about certain things? Why can't we just have a normal conversation and disagree and go about our business? I'm going to help you today, and hopefully you should get some results, or I should say some tips that will help you in your relationship as well. Make sure you leave a comment down below about your thoughts and your opinions as well. Make sure you're hyping this video up as well. Like, share, subscribe, and click on the bell button for notification of the uploads because you really know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because streets out here are hot. Okay, let's take it all the way back because before we got to that place where it turned into a beef, let's go all the way back here, okay? What's happening here, okay?
You brought up Levy being in the bed, and I said, you've complained about him barking, but you never complained about him being in the bed.
I talked to you about him being in the bed, and I didn't really complain about the barking. I just said we need to look at a way to try to resolve this because he can't be barking all day long, no matter where he lives.
Okay, first and foremost, body language is key. Chad's body language is not good, okay? Because number one, he's not even looking at her. Right? He's actually looking into the distance. He's showing us a disassociation, frustration, and anger. And you're probably asking, well, when I'm angry, can't I look into the atmosphere? Why can't I just look into the atmosphere? You can. But the problem is you're not connecting. Immediately, when you look into the atmosphere, you're not looking at the person, you are disconnecting what's happening between you and another person, which is now robbing you of some intimacy, but also vulnerability in this moment, okay? So what Chad needs to do is, if he's not ready to have this conversation because he's in a mood, he needs to stop the conversation from early. You're not in the mood to have a conversation. That's why you're pressed and you're like this. You're emotionally aroused at this point. And when you're emotionally aroused, what's going to happen is it's going to be more fireworks that are going to happen rather than a calm discussion or disagreement at that point in time. Okay. So first things first, I'm looking at body language. That's an issue straight away. But let's play a little bit more. Okay. Because he's got his hand on his chin. He's looking to the distance. He's frustrated.
He doesn't bark all day long.
When you're there, he doesn't. But when you're not there, he barks.
How do you know?
Because when I walk up to the apartment, when you're not there, he's barking.
When you're walking to the door, he's going to bark.
When I'm coming out of the garage, baby.
But you don't know if he's by him.
Okay, so in this situation, they're already in a beef. They're already in a disagreement. What's the disagreement here? He said about the dog, and the dog is a problem. And he's saying, listen, the dog barks all day. And she said, how do you know the dog barks all day? Da, 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 right? And it's immediately some level of a back and forth, right? Because people are feeling a little bit more defensive in this scenario. So we've got to solve this issue first and foremost. The argument actually isn't about the dog. The dog is just a byproduct or a vehicle that contains an argument, but it is not the reason why they're arguing. They're arguing because they've had a few spats before this and things haven't been resolved, and the conflict resolution style is awful. Okay, so what's happening here? The issue around this dog is that now what is happening is both people are going to dig their heels into the ground. They want to prove that they're right. Okay, because really and truly, this situation, is a dog barking or not? Hey, Belynda, listen, a dog is barking all the way through. She says, how do you know the dog's barking? Because when I come home, the dog's barking. Okay, she says, well, are you at home to know the dog's barking? Now, she is arguing. I can't lie to you. Whether she pretends or not, she's arguing. She doesn't recognize it. And it's because the way she's firing the questions back, right? Her first instinct is she doesn't know herself. She said, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that the dog was barking every single time. Is it that when you come, are you normally at home that the dog's barking or whatever? And then the tone and the energy is telling us she's ready to fight, right? Because she's already saying, I know the answer. When neither of them know the answer. None of them should have a tone of knowing when neither of them have the answer, right? So what should happen at the end of this conversation should be, look, a solution should come to the table. It should be like, okay, look, hey, look, you're right. Look, I don't know the dog's barking all day, but it feels like the dog is barking all day because when I come back from work, the dog's barking, and I'm assuming the dog is barking every single day. But Chad is already assuming saying the dog's barking every day. How do you know? You don't know. So what do you need to do? Hey, let's do a test. Let's get an audio recorder. We'll put it in there for a couple of hours, or a video recorder, a house camera, and we'll just witness and see if the dog is barking. If the dog is barking, then we know what to do now. We have to work on that solution. If the dog is not barking, I need to rescind what I just said. Now, why did he make that comment? Because he's already frustrated about the dog and he's not being honest about the dog. And that's why we're having this conversation. The actual argument isn't about the dog. The argument is about the fact that you're frustrated. You haven't spoken about the actual dog and how he's annoyed you because you feel like the dog is impeding on your relationship in some shape or form. And you haven't been honest. Now, both Belynda and Chad have some issues here. What are the issues here? Well, Chad is a military man. Okay, he's got an authoritarian perspective at points, okay, and doesn't like to be questioned and has a need for power control dynamic, right? Not saying he's controlling, to say that he has a need for power and control, okay? We've got Belynda, who went into marriage, who was in a marriage for who knows how many years, 2 decades almost, right? And she was cheated on, disrespected, and mishandled, but had kids for this man, right? And that will strip you of your power for while you're in that relationship. But once you come out and you're divorced, you can feel like you're being empowered again. She's gone back into the workforce and she probably found a bit more of her voice. So guess what she's going to feel? She's going to feel that anytime that Chad takes a certain tone, she's going to start instantly fighting back. Anytime Chad starts to impede on her wounds of betrayal, anything like that, which is what the conversation was before this, which was him speaking about Josh and Jalen, and she found out, quote unquote, to say, not necessarily all the way through, that it wasn't true about Josh and Jalen. She's thinking, oh, okay, this is going to be betrayal. But then we also find out that Chad is going to change when the cameras go. This sounds like control, right? Because why is it you're going to change when the cameras leave? You know what I mean? Like, now the cameras are not there. Are you going to show me who you really are? That's going to create fear. So automatically, Belynda is now putting her feet into the ground and she's putting a wall up. Chad is now responding to the wall up. Whether the chicken came, egg first came, we don't know, but it doesn't really matter. Now, Chad's responding to the wall, and he's also like, okay, she doesn't trust me, and she doesn't believe me, which sounds like what? Rejection. So now she's feeling betrayal, he's feeling rejection. Guess what's going to happen? A power dynamic between you and your partner, because now either one of you are feeling some feelings, and you're not talking about what you're actually feeling. And because you're not talking about what you're actually feeling, what's happening is you're talking around it, over it, under it, but you're not talking about it. And so now this thing is now affecting your relationship with one another. Okay. All right. So there's an issue because of power and control. It's a power dynamic. Okay. A power struggle. Okay. He wants to be heard, and he wants to be heard, and he wants to know that she believes him and not be rejected. She wants to be heard and know that her opinion is valued. Okay. Now, Chad and her both at the end of the conversation, she actually shut the conversation down. But his tone was also saying he wants to shut the conversation down too. But let's watch it a bit longer. Okay. And listen a bit more.
Himself that he's barking all day long.
So, sweetheart, are we going to be able to talk, or are we going to keep arguing with each
Okay,
other?
talk, but you're telling me things that it's like we don't know that he barks all day long when nobody's there.
This is already not going the way I was hoping it would go.
Now, he said, obviously, he feels like this relationship's not going the way that he hoped it would go. And he feels like for himself in this space that actually, they're just wasting their time. And he doesn't recognize that he's already at the point of breakage. Okay, this is not the appropriate time to have the conversation because he's already at breaking point, and it shouldn't be. She's absolutely right. Maybe the way that she's going about it, the tone, the energy, not right, but that she's absolutely right what she said. We don't actually know. So if Chad now had been in a calmer state, a less emotional, aroused state, what would be his response? You know what? You're right. We actually both don't know, but I feel like he is. So let's do a test. See, that would come to a solution. Let's do a test. Let's put a sound thing in there or camera, and we'll monitor throughout the course of the day. If he's barking every single day, let's then look at some solutions as to how we can make sure that he's not barking every single day, because it's going to affect the neighbors. It's going to affect where we're going to move. We have to be more considerate of the fact that he's barking every single day. That's another conversation now. But because we're not in that space and we're frustrated, we're now going to be like, you're arguing with me back and forth and not recognizing there's an opportunity here. I know this because I myself was doing the exact same thing. And the reason why I did the exact same thing is because there is fear operating on both people. But let's talk about Chad first. Chad is afraid. What's he afraid of? Rejection, but he's also afraid that this person isn't respecting him as an authoritative figure. Now, I don't think he's being controlling per se, but he's not respecting that the person's an authoritative figure. Why? Because you grew up in the military. In the military, you don't question, you don't talk back. And so when someone's talking back, it's actually a sign of disrespect. Now, before you jump and say, well, he did it, before you do that, the whole point of it is you're meant to understand your partner. Now we know that about Chad, we need to be able to add language and commentary to let him know, hey, Chad, when I'm talking back and I'm saying my points of view, how are you viewing that? How are you taking that? It's why I keep saying the experts are doing them dirty, because they're not asking them to ask questions. What does it mean when I do X, Y, Z towards you? When I do this or that, what does that mean? When I say this or that, what does that mean to you? Because in this moment, her talking back, she highlighted it herself, said, well, later on, you're going to see it. She says, when I'm talking back, why is it when it's an argument, when I'm saying what I'm saying? Which means you've clocked that when you're saying something, he's taking it in the wrong way. So we have to ask more questions than we are actually making statements. So Chad, let's slow it down. Sorry, let's slow it down. What's going on? I just asked you a question. I just said, obviously, I'm giving my opinion. That's what I think I'm doing. But what are you hearing when I now start giving my opinion back in rebuttal to what you've said? And something you've got to give that person a bit of time and seconds. Don't rush for the answer. Don't think they're going to give an immediate answer. They need time to process. Give them a minute or two. Let them breathe on it. Don't rush to say something. Don't destroy that safe space. And I'm kind of giving you the solutions ahead of time, but you know what I mean, right? So that you can actually get there. They didn't do that.
Do you want to work on this and try to say this or not?
I told you I would be willing to work on it last night.
You said you'd be willing, but do you want to?
Now, listen to what Chad's tone is. Now his tone is, do you want to work on this or not? It's become very firm. And trust me, I've been here. I know this. And I keep telling you guys, and when you watch these videos, I tell you, I've been here and I've done this and I've been called out for it. And the reason why I was doing it is because I was afraid of being taken advantage of. I only knew authoritarian parenting. I only knew you do as I say. So when someone doesn't do as you say, it is linked to disrespect. So how do I talk? I talk as do as I say, not as we need to understand each other. It's a win or a loss situation. It's a mother and a daughter situation. It's a father and a son situation, rather than being partners to partners. And that's where Chad's tone is going towards right now. It's going towards win versus loss, right versus wrong, rather than being, let's understand one another. Let me hear what you're saying, right? So now it's like, do you want to work on this or not? And she's telling you, yeah, she does want to work on it, but he's not recognizing he's in that position.
If I'm willing to work on something, I'm going to do it because I want to.
So what do we do?
You want to have a conversation, but you don't want me to participate in the conversation.
I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, so as you heard, and she's about to go into it, and I kind of cut it off because of copyright. As you just heard, obviously, she just said, I'm participating in this conversation, but it feels like you don't want me to be involved in this conversation. That should be another sign that the conversation is not going where you want it to go to. That should be another sign that we're not actually paying attention to each other and we're not hearing each other, right? When she says those lines, it should wake everybody else up. Coffee, that we're not actually having the right conversation. She should recognize he's not hearing me. He should recognize she's not. I'm not trying to do what she said I'm trying to do. I'm actually trying to be heard. You're trying to be heard. But when you don't recognize, because you're in fight mode, because you're afraid of being hurt and being vulnerable and being taken advantage of, your instant survival mechanisms begin to kick in, which is what's happening right now. All right. So let's listen.
You what I think, and you're arguing on the points.
Why is it that you're telling me what you think and I'm arguing versus I'm telling you what I think and you're telling me what you think?
We're getting nowhere with this.
Okay, then.
Which is actually a really good point. Why is it when I'm saying what I'm saying, it becomes an argument? Why is it when I'm rebuttaling you, it's not just a rebuttal? And I know why, because like I said, for a lot of people who grew up in an authoritarian perspective, anybody talking back is disrespect. In the African culture, talking back is disrespectful. So immediately when your wife is talking back, you look at it as disrespect. Now, maybe her tone is off. Maybe the way she's saying it is off. But we have to also be aware that we have triggers ourselves. When you do talk back, I do feel like you're being rude. You're questioning me. You're questioning my authority. You're questioning my position. You're basically saying that you don't believe that I'm a good leader. That's what people are really hearing. Instead of actually really deep in it. And this is why we need to be self-focused in an argument rather than otherly focused on other person. When I was having a lot of arguments, and this person knows who they are, I was having a lot of arguments with a particular person, right? And they were telling me I was kind of sounding like, like their dad. I'm scolding them. Da, da, da. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not even scolding you, bro. I'm telling you what you're moving mad with. I had to reel it back in. Because my first thought was, if I don't say it that way, you're going to take advantage. I had to clock it. Oh, my days. Okay. My fear is I've been taken advantage of. So what's the real issue here? The issue is I don't believe this. I don't know another way how to address issues that I think are very sensitive and very painful to me without, I didn't have that training. The first thing to do is to center yourself. Why is it that this affects me the way it does? Most of us are thinking about how the other person's behavior is affecting us, but we're thinking about how to shut them down, how to, you're being rude right now. I feel like you're being disrespectful and immediately shut them down. We're not thinking about ourselves in the sense of why does it make me feel this way though? Why am I affected by this? When I was having an argument with that young lady and I was talking about this situation, when she called me out, at first I didn't understand it, but when I took it away, I said, oh, let me think about that now. Why is that affecting me? It's affecting me because I feel like you're challenging my leadership. You're challenging my authority. And why do I feel like that? Because my understanding of leadership is in the wrong place. My understanding of leadership is authoritarian. It's not as democratic as I thought it was, right? Person's not usurping power. The person's not taking over. They're questioning me and maybe they're scared as well. And maybe I need to answer a few more questions to find out what they really feel and not make an assumption of what they said. Are you saying this? Is this what you mean? Okay, I'm hearing this because when you say that, what I'm really hearing is you don't respect me. And the person can say, no, I do respect you. No, but see, so questions need to be asked. But when you're in a power struggle, you're assuming what the other person is doing. You're projecting, which is what both of them are doing right now, right? Which is why it ends this way.
I'm done.
Okay,
It's fine.
that's fine. I love Belynda, but I don't appreciate this.
And instead of her to tell Belynda, sit your ass down. We haven't finished the conversation. We're not going anywhere. I don't understand where you're coming from, and you don't understand where I'm coming from, which means we're missing each other. Sit down. Let's have this. Like me, and the person knows who they are. We'd have 2-hour conversations, bro. I remember we had 2-3 hour conversation. It'll be long, drawn out. And listen, I was a problem myself. I know that wasn't always the best, you know what I mean? But I really appreciate those conversations because I learned so much now about how conflict resolution needs to happen and what was actually happening. Right now, she's now about to walk off. Chad, pull her. Hey, Belynda, listen, we've got to. Let's just take 10. Let's take 10. Come back because I'm a little bit heightened. I think you're a little bit heightened. Or let me just say I'm a little bit heightened. I want to come back in 10. I want to be able to have this conversation, but I need to understand where you're coming from. And how do we qualify what understanding is? When we can actually articulate what their point is. If you can't articulate what your partner's point is, you ain't got to the point of understanding yet. If you're all, if and I always say this, like sometimes we need to just say, okay, hold this. When you're holding this, you talk, and I'll only ask questions to clarify. When you put the phone down or the item down and I pick it up, it's now my turn to talk. Most people are doing shoot. It's back and forth. And when you're back and forth, you're actually not listening. What you are looking for is you're listening to respond. Your first thing to solve this issue is to slow it all the way down. You're going too fast. That's the first thing. Everything's going too fast. Slow it all the way down. Pause before you speak. Number 2, focus on self. What is it that you're feeling and why? Ask yourself questions. Now, many of you are going to struggle to process your information in an argument, which is why you need to take time out of that argument. When you feel like I'm not actually hearing you anymore, I'm not understanding you, you need to be like, hey, sorry, I can't hear nothing at this moment. I feel like I'm stressed right now. Can we just take a 10-minute breather? I want to process what you're saying, but it's hard to process. One thing I loved about the person I was arguing with is that they always say, I need to process that. And maybe like half an hour later, they'll send you a text or a message and be like, they've processed it. And I'm like, wow, like they processed it. You get what I'm saying to you? And now I can soften up too. So I started learning from them too. Process the thing. Don't respond immediately. Something I actually really appreciate about them. They didn't respond immediately. They would process it first, you know, and hear it. And so the same thing with me. I'm starting to learn, okay, I need to process the information and actually slow it all the way down. I am feeling things and I'm denying myself that I'm feeling things. And that's why I'm responding the way I'm responding, harshly. Okay. So we need to first and foremost slow it down. Number one. Number two, take a breather if you need to. Number three, we need to look at how do we validate each other's feelings and thoughts, right? How do I do that? You validate people's feelings and thoughts by understanding their points. And a way you understand the point is to say, wait, did I hear you correctly? Are you saying this? Is this what you mean? When you said this, is this what you were saying? And those words, what it does is it puts us in an immediate space automatically to start actually hearing one another and gaining understanding, not a winning perspective. Okay. All right. So we want to make sure we understand each other and bring in solutions, but based upon first validating thoughts and feelings. I can understand why you feel frustrated right now because I'm also feeling it, which means in this scenario, I get why you're like this. Or you know what? Maybe I don't understand fully what's going on, but I can understand the feelings and as to why you feel this way about this topic, right? Those are validating sentiments towards their feelings. Okay. Before we then bring in the solutions, before you go to judgment. Okay. All right. We need to focus on ourselves. Why do I feel the way I feel? And not be like, they're doing that because they did it. No, they don't even know, bro. They don't even know what's going through your head. They only know what you know. You only know what you know. Okay. All right. So number one, again, we want to slow it down. We want to focus on ourselves. We want to make sure we're focused on bringing understanding, not winning. Okay. Then we can bring solutions in. All right. So if Belynda and Chad could just slow it down, he can just say, hey, look, I'm feeling scared right now. Some of the things you're saying are affecting me. I feel like I'm not being heard and not being believed. Let me finish my thought process off. Let me just say X, Y, and Z. Let me tell you what behaviors are contributing towards that. And then she can obviously go, okay, is that what you're saying? Okay, now I get it. Then he does the exact same thing for her. Rather than a back and forth, la tete, which sounds sexy in a film and a novel, but it ain't great when you're in a relationship, right? It's always a feeling of unsafe. But listen, if I've helped you, even if I haven't helped you, listen, make sure you leave a comment down below in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hopefully this will help you solve some of your relationship issues going forward as well. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you as well. Much love.